We've got a lot to talk about. Alright fellas, welcome back to another Bit Heroes video. I know it has been a while, but we're going to use this video to catch everybody up on everything that you and I have missed. So, as far as myself and the channel, we've been busy, we've been traveling a lot. Still been playing Bit Heroes, which is pretty awesome. Due to the nature of the game being like a mobile game, it's pretty easy to keep things going, but a lot more difficult to keep videos up. So, my schedule should still be a little bit iffy until early November, then we'll be set in stone, good to go, and back to everything streaming as normal. This video should go up right before the Friday reset, and I do plan on streaming it. I'll probably start around an hour before the reset, and then we'll just kind of run on through depending on how the Kongiversary is going, and as far as like the voting and things like that. So we've got the Battle Bard expedition towards the end of this video. I'll talk about the familiars, I'll talk about the gear. The reason why I did not put up this video super quick is because honestly I really wasn't that thrilled with anything. None of the mythic items jump out at me as, you know, something that I have to have. Same thing with the familiars, but honestly I would actually prefer that expedition familiars and gear, the mythic items, are not really best in slot items because expeditions aren't always available. They're a pain in the butt to farm. That's my phone going out. Let's kill that. And it's almost impossible, unless you're just going to spend a ridiculous amount, it's almost impossible to try to stable a familiar out of one expedition, so it takes some time. So I'm kind of happy that that is not best in slots. That's your little TLDR if you're in a rush. But we'll still go through it. I'm very happy to have an expedition. I'm happy to have new content. It's fun. It's just not something I'm going to push for, and I don't think that most people should do the same thing either. So that's Battle Bards. We'll talk about that again at the end of the video. Kongiversary starts soon, so at reset, basically right around the time this video is going live, we'll have the Kongiversary. It has changed from year to year. The most recent Kongiversary, if you click on notes down here, this green button, you scroll all the way back 1 year ago, they did a month-long double daily bonus. We've been getting so many bonuses per week, I think they might step that up and do something even more special. And of course, there's different sales and other stuff going on. So I'm very excited to see what the Kong team will bring to their first Kongiversary, because before it was Jepio Men's, now it's Kong. Let's see what they have to do. I'm very interested in the sales, and then obviously bonuses are always nice, so that should be pretty fun. And then here you're seeing some more of the new expedition familiar skins and stuff like that. So Kongiversary is coming up, and then big deal. I have intentionally not done a ton of campaigning and advertising and being annoying about the whole council voting thing, even though I am running. But since I am running and it's a very important impact on the game, I will finally start to cover that now. And the way they did it is either they had 600 people apply to the Kong website to be a potential council candidate, and then they cut it down from there. It was either 600 total or 600 was just the first day, the first number of candidates they had, and they had to cut it down from there. You know, so they took people out. You had to be an active player for at least 3 months before the event. You had to have a pretty clean account, which there's some controversy there that I may or may not cover in this video. And yeah, so they just kind of vetted people, and then there you go. I think there's still like 200 candidates or something crazy like that. There's way too many candidates still in there, and if you're just like a casual player or like a routine player, you're really not going to know all the different candidates. So I'm going to very quickly, valuing your time, I'm going to kind of scroll through and just talk about who I would pick really quick. To make your life a little bit easier, because you got to pick, like, I think each player votes for 2 people in each category, but the selection process is going to grab 20 in total. So we'll talk about that when we get there. And let's see if there's anything else. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So let's jump into it. So let's go straight to the council thing. This is straight off the Kong website. Let me make this a little bit bigger for the boys, anybody on mobile. And here we go. So BitHelper is Ellie. She's in the Discord. She's a community person. She's pretty awesome, and she's been very polite to me. Anyways, all right. So beta testers. There's going to be 10 beta testers selected. All of the voting will happen in game through Bit Heroes. That's what I'm told. I'm going to say that again. All of the voting for the candidates is going to happen in game, so you don't have to jump to a different website. You don't have to go to Cartridge or Congregate or whatever. It's all supposed to happen in game. Hopefully, it will work. And here we go. I think that's perfect size. So For beta testers, 10 will be selected. I think each person, like I said, is going to vote for 2 of these guys, so I'm going to give you 2 of my picks. So scrolling through, Ballbreaker is a veteran player. You'll see him at the top of the TS leaderboard. Very, very awesome guy. I enjoyed talking to him. He's very kind. Dan Colarill, there's probably maybe 2 people in the game that know as much or more about the game as Dan Colarill. He's currently at the top of the leaderboards if you want to check through that, and I can maybe show that at the end of the video. But a lot of experience, he knows what he's talking about, so just kind of like my eyes going through here, that's who I would pick. And then moving on, community elder players. So what elder players is players that have been playing for a long time. The reason why I'm defining that is because new players, it might not be what you think. So elder players, players that have been around for a while. Obviously, I'm going to go for myself here. That's why I'm running. The duty of the council is to kind of vote on changes. Devs will say, hey, we want to do this thing that's probably going to be detrimental to the game. What do you guys think? And then it's our job to basically save everybody. I'm kind of kidding there, but maybe I'm not. And of course, beta testing. We've had a lot of bugs and issues come into the game, and I think the Democratic Council might be like the last wave or the last line of defense against bugs that enter in the live version of the game. So that's part of it. And then, so obviously that's the job I'd be doing. But on top of it, I have a platform where I can communicate with players. You guys can reach me on the Discord. You guys can reach me on the stream. You can message me on YouTube. I'm very accessible. So if you have concerns, it's very easy to use my platform for yourself to help and push your concerns through so that devs actually hear them. So I want to use the platform that we have. We've got over 1,000 people on YouTube. We've got over 1,000 follows. And then, of course, our Discord's like 600, 700 people, something like that. So we definitely have the platform to do it. So obviously doing it for myself. And the last thing is, if I have early access to content, that gives me more time to prepare and plan videos. Time is something that is very crucial right now. And if I have more time, then again, I've got more time to make those videos and guides and everything that you need to see. And previously, like an expedition's super easy. I can do that all in one night. But if we're talking about crafting that is going to be added into the game, like different professions and crafting and new stuff and things like that, I'm going to need an ample amount of time to be able to test those things on the beta server, make sure there's no bugs and things like that. And if I don't have that time, honestly, those videos aren't going to get made. So I've got you. You're my hostage now. But honestly, like, I imagine crafting, I'm just kind of comparing this to previous games that I've seen before. You have to skill up the crafting, then you have to make different things, and that costs time and resources. There's no way I'm going to be able to come out with a bunch of different profession or crafting videos that explains what's going on unless I have some sort of early access. Otherwise, it's all going to be just documenting it like 3 months after it comes out, and that doesn't really help anybody. So that's my plan. That's what I'm up here for. So Gavgen, I like that. And Vistrich up here, I'm going to try to limit myself to only 2 picks, but Vistris, he has been in the game for a very long time. He runs the World Boss Discord, which is phenomenally run. It probably makes without that Discord, honestly, doing World Boss would be pretty close to horrible / impossible. So very like that. And then Hiltzy's my boy. Just gotta give him a little shout out. Hiltzy, what's up? Community advocate, new players. So new players, they're not defining this as these people are not new players. They're defining this as the community advocate that is focused on the tier 1 to tier 4 or tier 5 experience. That's what I've been told. It's a little bit confusing, so I'll say it again. The new player community advocate is focused on the new player experience. Makes sense? Pretty good. My boy, Choosy Goblin over here, he has put a ton of effort in. He's always involved when we do like roundtable discussions, things like that. He's also built his own platform. He's pretty successful with streaming as well. So I'd have to get the nod to him. Community advocate, free to play. Let's see if any names jump out here for me. Topsy. Easy pick, Topsy right here. Top secret. He is, I think this guy has his own simulation program that he built to help test things. I've talked to him a ton. He's a wealth of knowledge. I would be very comfortable having Topsy as the free-to-play. And, I mean, just easy pick off this chart right here. Easy. Pay to win. Aloe's always involved. She's been playing the game for a very long time. She knows everybody in every guild. Very involved in the discussion, so that's another easy pick there as well. Meta specialist, Colby. I swear I'm not picking the top person each time, but Colby, again, he has done a lot of those like quick little info guides. He's spoken about the meta constantly. He's given new players a ton of assistance. Colby's an easy pick. Also, he's very experienced himself. He's like a top 25 player. easily. I do have to shout out my boys Rozelius and Kilograms. Good to see your faces up here. Meta Specialist, Rev Me Up, easy pick. Easy pick. Rev Me Up, again, just like Colby, been around for a very long time. A lot of experience. I'm happy to see Rev up here as well, so that makes your job a lot easier. Tanking, Meta Specialist, Emily, another easy pick. God, you're making it easy for me. So Emily XC is one of the kindest people, one of the most knowledgeable people. She's constantly in the new player channels, answering the same 15 different new player questions constantly. She was a big help to me before I even started making videos. Wealth of knowledge there, been around for a very long time, so I'd be very confident picking Emily. And then Meta Specialist, good to see my boy Anto Man's up here. What's up, Anto? And, oh, another easy pick, Lithris. Lithris is another experienced player. I think Lithris also has his own simulation program. So what that is basically takes all the calculations, all the math of the game, and you can plug in new items, new builds, and it just runs the numbers over like 1,000,000 battles, and it tells you what you should expect, what your DPS, stuff like that. I hope that some sort of something like that is made available again for the general public. Maybe Kong could do their own official thing, but again, Lithris here would be a very easy pick. And I'm very confident about that. So again, one more time, the players were selected because they applied, and they were supposed to take out anybody that had bans, toxic behaviors, things like that. But I'm not gonna jump into the drama. And then as far as I think what you and I are voting for, and again that's going to happen in game, is I think we pick 2 from each category. So 2 beta testers, 2 meta specialists, 2 community advocates, and then the 10 players out of the beta testers that have the top votes get in there. Easy. 4 players out of the meta specialists will do the same thing. So 1 for tanking, 1 for DPS, 1 for healing, 1 for other, and then community advocates. 6 of these guys get picked. Pretty straightforward. So there you go. All right, so that's as fast as I could physically do that. That covers the player council voting, which will start. I think it starts right at reset, so we'll check that one out. And let's go. What did I miss? So we talked about Kongiversary, and then over here. So Battle Bards, new expedition. Let's see how fast I can possibly cover this one. So here we go. This was a picture not created by myself. That's why it looks a little bit different. But I tell you what, it's good, and it'll get the job done. So shout out to the community for getting this one up. I was a little bit less thrilled with these familiars, and there's been a couple expeditions where I'm like, no one's gonna make these. Why am I making a big beautiful picture? But since I like to be thorough and try to document everything, I went ahead and made them anyways. But here we go. I'm going to do this rapid fire. I don't want this video to be any longer than it has to be. Some of these bonuses that you see were actually incorrect, and this should be the corrected version. Some of them are a little bit out of whack. For example, the deflect chance. Let's see if you guys can see it. The deflect chance over here. Initially, when this was posted, it was 12.5 instead of 1.25. That's kind of a big deal. But that could have just been like a tooltip error. But anyways, it has been rectified now. And again, if there's any other bonuses that are incorrect, then they will be corrected in the future. You can find these pictures on basically all the Discord servers for Bit Heroes. And let's get started. So again, I'm going to do this rapid fire. And here we go. So the first one is a tank with too much agility. So that kind of writes him off. The next one is a tank with too much agility. The next one is an evade tank with also too much agility. So that kind of knocks him out of the list. Let's scroll over here. This guy is a damage familiar, but he has no healing, no sustain, and right now it's very difficult to use a DPS familiar that doesn't have any healing because a lot of the content you do is a 3-player team or like a 3-man team. So for Trials and Gauntlet, for dungeons, things like that, you only can fit 3 people on your team. You need a tank in the front, a tank in the back, and typically you want a healer that can do DPS. And so that doesn't really leave a spot for a DPS only familiar. Unless things change and in the future we see more like 5-man content or 5-person teams, you're really not going to get a lot of value out of a DPS only familiar, and I probably wouldn't pick this guy regardless of that. Let's go all the way back through legendaries again. So this is the new Goblin over here. Cool bonuses, but again, he has no 1 SP sustain. He's only got a 2 SP heal, so he's not going to be able to heal your team effectively. So that takes him off. Same thing over here. These are 2 SP sustain skills also. We have a couple familiars in the game that have a 2 SP revive and a 1 SP revive, so having a 4 SP revive, not that valuable. And then over here, another tank with too much agility, and another tank with too much agility. So why am I being very, very harsh on all the tanks with agility is because this agility really shouldn't be much more over 500, which means you have 1,000 wasted total stats. 1,000 wasted total stats. Those total stats could go into attack. Those total stats could go into stamina, although his stamina is way too high, doesn't really need to be that high. And so if you have 1,000 wasted stats on this guy who's probably 5,000, 6,000, he's probably 6,000 or 7,000 total stats on this guy. Actually, he's closer to 7.5. But anyways, so if you're wasting 1,000 total stats out of a familiar that has 7.5 thousand total stats, that's a massive percentage of total stats that are wasted. And since the difference between a legendary familiar and an epic familiar is only 10% total stats, you're wasting more than 10% total stats in his agility. So if you just subtracted this 1,000 agility from this guy, he would be an epic familiar. Now, legendaries have a higher multiplier when it comes to augments and things like that, but why would you go all in and waste all the resources to get a legendary familiar that isn't close to being perfect? Since you have all these options, there's like 20 different tanks and DPS and 5 different healers. You have all these options, so why would you choose to pick a tank that has flaws when you could either get something that already exists in the game that's easier to get because it's not in an expedition, or you could just wait for something new to come out. Word on the street is that there's a new world boss coming out towards the end of the tier, and world boss typically has the best familiars. If you look at Wacom, if you look at Drazig, if you look at Melborg, if you look at Korgs or Glarsdos, those are all world boss familiars. So if I were you, I would just wait for the new world boss to come out if you don't already have a familiar that you like a lot. None of these guys really jump out at me. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so quick to kind of be dismissive of these guys. And then over here, docking the new Mythic Familiar. So, oh my goodness, they did it again. Another Kaleido. This is the Raid 2 or Raid 3. I think it's Raid 2. The boss from Raid 2 using this guy. Now, honestly, 2 legendary Raid boss guys to make a Mythic, that's not too bad of a recipe. This is probably the first recipe that I've seen that isn't like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So they're using Kaleido again. That kind of sucks. If anybody wants to make this guy, it's very unfortunate if you've already used like 30 Kaleidos to make the other Kaleido Mythic. However, I don't think you're missing out. I would rather have the Kaleido healing guy better than this. And the reason why, well, let's talk about it. So his stats are fine. For a healer slash a DPS, his stats are fine. Having a lot of agility is actually really good on a healer because you get more heals in more frequently. It's more consistent. You have less overhealing, which is good. All of this looks fine except for he's got a revive that is 4 SP. The other Mythic Kaleido has a revive that is 1 SP. So that's an obvious choice there. The other thing is he has a 0 SP self-heal. This is a problem because he's not a tank. He doesn't need this. He's not going to be front-lining. If he took damage on himself, he could heal himself with his 1 SP spread heal. This skill being here, and you can't disable this skill, so if this is on autopilot, he's going to cast this skill almost all the time. And that means what's going to happen is either he's going to use this skill and then a damage skill and then this skill and then a healing skill and this skill and a damage skill, this skill, healing skill. But it's a 0 SP. He could actually use it more than every other time. So that's the problem. And the reason why I'm making a big deal about this is one of the reasons why people are upset about the polychromatic blaster. It has a self-shield. So if you wear it as a DPS player, every other turn you're self-shielding yourself. And you're essentially doing half the damage that you should be doing. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are no longer using the ancient polyblaster gun. People are shelving the ancient gun in favor of new weapons just because it has a 0 SP self-healing skill or self-shielding skill in the case of the gun. So that skill is a big enough problem to make people put away an ancient weapon. And so this familiar having this skill is the same problem repeating itself. I don't think people are going to make this guy. So that's the familiars. You've got a bunch of tanks with too much agility. You've got a bunch of DPS with no 1 SP healing skills or team healing skills. So they're fun to look at. It's a fun expedition. But none of these guys are on my list to make. So that's my thought process. And then last but not least, let's talk about these mythic items. So over here, let's see, you've got, first off, this is the first expedition in the entire history of the game that we only have 2 mounts. Now, I kind of value quality over quantity, but I didn't see that one coming. You know, we went from one guy coding to potentially up to like 30 people developing the game in different ways, and then we have less mounts, so that might be a point where the community is a little bit, I don't know, ticked off about that. I don't know. But apparently it was confirmed. I thought we were just waiting on people to discover these. It's confirmed there's only 2 mounts, and these are the ones. So, motorcycle looks cool. I don't like the dog head on the front, and I don't know what's going on with this one, but if you are into that kind of stuff, there you go. So it's in this portal, the yellow one, and in the blue one. Purple and orange don't have a mount, so a little bit sad there. Some people, the biggest draw for them is the mount, at least for expeditions. And I know we're a little bit cropped, but that's how we're going to have to do it. Okay, so in the purple portal, we have a chest piece. It gives absorb, deflect, and evade. This is kind of similar to some of these items like the degenerate ring that gave absorb, deflect, and damage reduction. I don't know. You could wear it if you want. Not that exciting for me. We have a main hand weapon. I actually got this one. 2% absorb chance. You and nearby teammates gain 1% increased damage. So this is a tank item that gives team damage. It kind of would be nice if it was a tank item that gave team damage reduction like the next item, but I don't know why they chose this bonus. As far as the skills are really good. So shielding and healing self, shield and heal self for 0 SP is probably the best skill that you could possibly have on a tank weapon. Only a tank weapon. Strongest enemy, this is awesome at 0 SP. This has a very high multiplier. Drain health from all enemies, that's a good skill. Random enemy, target enemy, these are fine. So these skills are really good. These skills are not better from the axe looking thing, or I think it's an axe from World Boss. I'll try to put a picture up of something like that. But there is currently, from World Boss in Tier 11, there is an axe that has very similar skills to this. I think the axe is a little bit better. I'm kind of scratching my head about the bonus on it. If I was a tank, I want tanking stats. But if you put this on like on a tank that's not on the front line, you could probably get away with wearing this and support your team a little bit. We have a headpiece. You and nearby teammates gain 2% damage reduction. That's cool. I would actually, if you could switch these two, I wouldn't be complaining about it too much, but it is what it is. So from the top portal, you've got this headpiece, 2% team damage reduction. Okay. And then chippity, offhand, damage, speed, dual strike, and power chance. This is really good. You could totally use this. It's really good. The only downside is if you want to up tier this in the future, then it's not going to be that easy for you. So, all right, boys, that will wrap up this video. Like I said in the beginning of the video, my schedules will be a little bit touch and go until early November, then we'll be set in stone and back into the mix like things were. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you on stream. I'm streaming now. I'll be streaming the reset. Be there. All right, fellas. Peace.